and let's move to the next startup of today, which is Up. So we welcome Jan-Jaap Volmer of Upcycling Solutions, and he's going to tell us all about the company, of course. You have a solution to process the difficult to recycle plastic and textile waste streams into robust, recyclable products and applications for regional markets. Curious.
As you said, all plastic wastes are recyclable. And why is it then that even here in Belgium, where we have a high recycling rate of plastic waste, we only recycle at most 30% of the plastic waste we produce every year? Because it is difficult to recycle plastic waste. It is difficult to sort plastic waste and sometimes too expensive. Plastic waste sometimes is too contaminated, too smelly to process and to recycle. And sometimes they are fishing nets or multi-layer plastics, which are all quite difficult or expensive to sort, to separate, and to recycle in a proper way. If you look worldwide, this 70% not recycled is even worse. It's 90% of the plastic waste which is not recycled, which is burned, ends up in landfills or in the environment, in rivers and oceans. It's killing marine life, it's polluting our beaches. So it's doing a lot of harm. A lot of this plastic waste is being burned, causing a lot of carbon and toxic fumes into our air. And that is also a problem. Burned sometimes for the good reasons, to generate some energy. But most of the times, especially outside Europe, it is burned outside houses, in the streets. It's toxic fumes polluting the air, poisoning people and shortening their lives. It's a big problem. But as I said, all plastic waste is recyclable. And that is where Up is focusing on. We're focusing on this 87%, if you want, unrecycled plastic waste. So the mixed plastic waste, which is too difficult to sort, contaminated plastic waste, fishing nets, shipping ropes, diapers, sanitary pads, multi-layer foils, beverage cartons, sachets, beach cleanup, litter. That's the waste we focus on. Up is actually a project developer, and we build regional circular ecosystems, where we bring together the partners in financing a project, in the technology, how to recycle all this mixed plastic waste, and the local operator. We believe that we have to bring our solutions to regions and have to make the problem of plastic and textile waste, as you said correctly, visible into the regions. And so the regional stakeholders often are the suppliers of waste streams, so the recyclers and the collectors of plastic waste, distributors of construction materials, which we can make out of the plastic waste, market parties. We need demand for products we make from the plastic waste. Knowledge institutes, schools, universities to design and develop products, to do the market research, to study the market, and also local and regional governments. They can act as important launching customers because they use a lot of materials which we can make for their local infrastructure, for example. But they can also help us with the permits and make it easy to set up actually facilities to recycle this plastic waste. One of the things which makes us very special is that we use a technology, a machine which can recycle all this plastic waste. It's what we call the Unwaster. The green machine, which you see on screen here, is actually being set up currently in the northern part of the Netherlands, in the Eemshaven, in a test and demo facility. It's a technology which has been developed in Australia by Plastic, and they have run this machine for the past 4 or 5 years, done all sorts of tests, but couldn't get it off the ground commercially in Australia. And that is probably what we think, because Australia has a lot of space. They can bring their waste 300-400 kilometers inside their country, and 200 kilometers around it, there's nobody who even cares about what they do with the waste, whether they burn it or whether they landfill it. It's over there. That is changing in Australia as well. But this company didn't manage to get this machine off the ground. And when we contacted them 3 years ago, we said, well, actually, we can use this in Europe as well. And we can use it in Southeast Asia, where we're also active. So let's get this machine to Europe, test and validate waste streams with it here, and also demonstrate to interested parties what this machine can do. And this machine literally eats all plastic waste, unshredded, unsorted, unwasted. So we take basically in bales of mixed plastic waste, and with the use of friction and pressure, we actually melt all these different types of plastic at our own melting temperature. So we don't melt at one temperature. No, every single piece of plastic is being, through friction, is being melted or brought to their own melting temperature, is then melting, pushed through some holes in a circle, and then all the molten fractions are actually being mixed. And this mixing is actually the big secret, because normally if you try to mix different types of plastic, it doesn't go well, because normally it looks like you try to stick together different types of materials to each other, and they don't really get together very well. So you get weak products with weak points in there. And in our case, because we do it with these molten fractions, we mix at a very micro level, almost at a molecular level, and we get a very consistent, strong, homogeneous new material out of it. And with that material, we can make new products. If we put it in a mold and we cool them down, you have a plank or a pole or something else you want to make. The good thing about the products we make is that we can also recycle them again. So it is not an end-of-life product we are making. After end of life or end of use, we can take them back, put them in the green machine again, and use them again. Products we are thinking of, we have a certain stairway of value. We start with simple things. Planks, poles we can use to make a picnic table set or a park bench. But we are also working in Indonesia, for example, on drainage systems for rainwater, which comes off the roads and has to be transported somewhere. Irrigation systems for the rice paddies, etc. In the Netherlands, we are working together with a design agency where we developed this climate tree. This is one which we are going to produce. It's a framework on which you can grow greens like hydera. I don't know what the English term for klim op is, but that is something. But you can grow green on it, and you get a tree which you can use in places where it's difficult to plant a tree with all the roots, etc., where you have pipelines of cables, etc., in the ground, in inner cities, for example, and squares. So a lot of products for infrastructure, for street furniture, port infrastructure, and other stuff. I see that I have to go a little bit fast. The current projects we have. One, I already mentioned, in the northern part of the Netherlands, we're setting up a test and demo center. That's a joint venture with 4 parties. Actually, we are waiting at the moment for the installation company that is going to bring the power to the machine. And I hoped actually that it would run this week already, but we hope that in the next 2 weeks, our demonstration facility, our factory there, will actually run. So we start testing maritime waste streams, hospital waste streams, and mixed plastic and textile waste streams on that machine to further on scale up and build bigger facilities in the Netherlands, Belgium as well, I hope. And the other one is that we have a big project in Indonesia going on, financed by the Alliance to End Plastic Waste, where we're going to build a first phase 5 to 10 kilotons processing facility, also for mixed plastic waste into construction materials. So far, we did in 2022, this year we're going to do 250,000 kilograms of plastic waste, which is actually not much. And that is, in 2017 I started with up, so in 5 years I want to go actually much faster and much quicker. In 3-4 years' time, we want to do 250 million kilos of plastic waste. We have to do that with a number of new projects and a number of new factories who can do a lot of things. Well, I will not go through the financial sheet. That will take too much time. But in order to make that impact, which we want to make, we need much more facilities, and we need also much more money. Money that comes from partners to set up projects, also partners to work with UP itself to develop the projects and to develop the products as well, which we want to sell, and to do some work on the waste stream. So that is what we're asking for. Thank you.
Indeed, a bit of a longer pitch, so our Q&A session is 2 minutes shorter. Go ahead, who first?
I have a question. First of all, it's great to give a second life to unrecyclable plastic, but in one of your slides, you also mentioned that the new material is also going to be recyclable. According to ISO definition, recyclable, which means that the material needs to be widely collected and accepted into existing recycling streams. So does this new material fit in any of the existing recycling streams, or needs to be recycled again within the same machine that you just mentioned?
I think that the products we make with this machine, which can be planks and poles, for example, we have to take them out of existing recycling stream, because those are normal. Those need to be sorted, and the technology then it should be able. Then they should sort it, but they will only get out this new material as a recyclate. So you have to we have to make sure that we close the loop. Yeah.
Have you ever considered the possibility of using this material that you will produce out of the green machine to make consumer products? I'm thinking packages for fast-moving consumer goods. Would it be possible, or the properties are so degraded you can't even do that?
Properties are not so much degraded, but because we use a high variety of input streams, also the output streams will not be. It will be consistent material which we get. The only thing is that we will have also in the beginning a lot of variations in output material, and also over time the input material and the composition of the input material will change probably, because there will be more possible on the high side of recycling. We are going to look into it, but food grades is completely off the picture and will be so for the next 10-15 years, I would assume. Packaging material may be possible. At the moment, we are purely looking at thick-walled products, so really construction materials. But we will look into it, but it will take time.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Another question?
Yeah, maybe a question. Because it's a project-based business, and you have the ambition to scale up. What is your strategy? How are you going to do that? Because you need partners to finance and to collaborate.
What we are doing now is we have a pipeline of projects which we are setting up, and that's both here in Northwestern Europe as well as in Southeast Asia, because we're also working already for the past 5 years in mainly in Vietnam and Indonesia, and basically we take it from this pipeline of projects where we already have these potential partners partly together, and it may be that we have an operator partner in Indonesia is also interested to do the operation in other parts, but we don't have the financial partner. The technology partner, for the time being, we work with this technology because we think it's great. It's low cost and it's also low energy, which makes the footprint as well of our products quite good. So technology is there. It's mainly financing and funding and the regional ecosystem partners, basically, which we have to look for in every region where we want to work for. And if we can use bigger partners which are interested to help us in expanding in bigger areas, and like I mentioned already, the Alliance to End Plastic Waste, who is sponsoring our project in Surabaya in Indonesia, they have also already shown interest to say, well, if if it works in Indonesia, because it's our first project indeed, we are very much interested to see whether we can use your technology on different projects we have as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Jan Jaap. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Round of applause.